According to Fidelity, 82% of millionaires didn't inherit their wealth. They built it from the ground up. And most of them didn't start with six-figure salaries or fancy job titles. They were average earners just like most people out there. Now, one thing I don't like about that stat of millionaires is that it usually includes their home in the numbers. So how does someone making an average income become a homeless millionaire? I actually think that average earners have more of an advantage on the road to becoming a millionaire than high income earners do. I know that sounds extremely crazy, but hear me out. When you start this process as an average earner, you don't have the extra income to spend on anything you've ever wanted. You're forced to focus your money on the things that really matter. In the process, you learn to build healthy habits that actually create wealth over time. High earners, on the other hand, may have already skipped the important steps, the part of the process where you learn how to make smart money decisions that help you become a millionaire sooner rather than later. They see a big paycheck and think, I'm doing pretty darn good for myself. So they loosen up, spend a little bit more, and assume that their income will cover their lack of discipline forever. About 20 years ago, I knew a couple who were some of the nicest people ever. Combined, they were earning about $500,000 in today's dollars living in the Midwest. And let me tell you, these people were living like it too. Nice house, nice cars, membership to private country clubs, constant vacations, and throwing money around like my first time at a gentleman's club when I was 17. Me being young and not understanding how the money game worked, thought that these people were stupid wealthy. Fast forward to present day, and that high income dried up for various reasons. No money was saved, and they have nothing to show for it except probably a lot of guilt. Here's the reality. Having a high income can often become a trap. It gives people a false sense of security, like they don't have to think about their financial future because they're making good money now and they're going to continue making good money forever. Nothing feels broken at the time, so it's easy to ignore the fact that there's no real structure in place for their finances. But if you want to start building a solid foundation to work towards becoming a millionaire, there are 3 key areas where you need to put some structure in place. The first is knowing how money should flow through your financial life. If I handed you $20,000 right now, what would you do with it? If you can give me that answer with sound logic, then that tells me that you've got a clear plan for how money moves in your life. It shows that you've thought about your priorities, whether that's paying off debt to reduce your liabilities, building your emergency fund for some safety, investing for your future, or whatever. But if your answer is more like, I don't know, I would probably spend some of it, save some of it, or put it towards something else, that is a sign that you don't have a solid structure in place yet. And without structure, money tends to disappear faster than you realize, whether it's on impulse buys, unnecessary upgrades, or just sitting in a checking account losing value to inflation. Knowing how money should flow isn't just about avoiding bad decisions. It's about maximizing every dollar to get you closer to your financial goals. Because the truth is, what you do with $20,000 today is exactly how you would handle $200,000 or even $2 million down the road. The habits don't change, these stakes just get higher. I lay out the order of investing for future millionaires in a video I released recently that I'll link at the top of this screen and down in the description below. The second piece of building structure is knowing how to manage your spending. And look, I know the idea of tracking expenses sounds about as exciting as a meeting with that one annoying coworker of yours. But if you don't know where your money is going, you're setting yourself up to wonder why you're still so far away from becoming a millionaire. This is especially important if you're an average earner. When you've got less extra income, there's less room for error. Every dollar matters more, and a few careless habits can throw you off track very quickly. That's why you need to know how much you are spending on the big stuff. Housing, groceries, transportation, and the sneaky little things that add up, like your Netflix subscription that somehow jumped $7 per month over the last 5 years. Now, as your income grows, sure, you can relax a little bit if you've run the numbers and you're on track. At a certain income level with a proper spending structure in place, you don't need to agonize over whether you spent $50 or $60 at Chipotle last month. But here's the catch. If you don't build the habit of tracking money when it's tight, you're going to struggle with it when you're making more. I see high earners screw this up all the time, blowing their extra income on things that they don't even notice or care about. So whether you're earning the median household take-home pay of $69,000 or pulling in $400,000, having some sort of idea of where your money is going will allow you to stay in control instead of letting your money control you. And to make this easier, automate as many of your recurring bills as possible. housing, transportation, insurance, utilities, and especially your investment contributions. It should get to the point where if you're manually going in to pay a bill or contribute money, it's because something unusual happened in your financial life. This has been a game changer for me. I've set it up so well that I usually forget when most of my bills are due, or that I'm even investing every single month, because the money kind of just disappears from my bank account automatically. The only time I really check in is when I do a twice-a-year audit to make sure that everything is running smoothly and I'm not paying for things that I'm not using any longer. I'll have my free spending review spreadsheet linked in the description down below if you want to start building some structure around your money. The third piece of building structure is planning around your projected future income. If you want to become a millionaire, your income is going to be one of the biggest factors. Unless you want it to take forever, it cannot stay stagnant. It needs to grow. The more your income increases, the more opportunities that you have to move yourself towards becoming a millionaire. But here's where people fall short. They don't treat their income as something that they can actively manage and grow. Raises, promotions, and side hustles aren't things that just happen by accident. They're the result of planning and taking action. For example, imagine getting a $5,000 annual raise. Over the next 10 years, that's an extra $50,000 added to your total income. Now think about what a consistent 5% to 10% annual raise could do over the span of your career. Even small increases compounded over time, and that extra money gets you closer to becoming a millionaire faster. The problem is that most people don't plan for these increases or even map them out. They just assume that their income will grow someday without considering how to make it happen or what those raises could mean for their future. That's why it's so important to project your future income. When you map out how even small raises stack up year after year, those numbers stop feeling like some far-off idea and become a lot more real. And once you see the potential, it pushes you to take the steps necessary to achieve it. I've actually created an income projection planner to help you do just that. It's a simple spreadsheet where you can plug in your current income, project annual raises, and see how much your income could grow over time. I set it up with a 3% yearly raise as a starting point, but you can adjust it to fit your situation. It's completely free, and I'll link it below so you can start mapping this out for yourself. If you are enjoying the video so far, please help support my little dog Molly as well as this channel by hitting that like button. I remember the first time I created this spreadsheet in my first job out of college, earning $30,000 per year. When I plugged the numbers in, the projections were depressingly low. On top of that, I quickly realized that my employer wasn't interested in paying their employees very well, so staying there was not going to be an option if I actually wanted to get ahead. With all that info in mind, after 8 months, I got the heck out of there and started working somewhere else where I more than doubled my salary. That spreadsheet became my secret weapon, and I've been using it every year since then to stay on top of my income. Now here's the thing, planning this sort of thing out doesn't guarantee that you're going to magically increase your income. Heck, there isn't even a guarantee that it's going to play out exactly like you see in the spreadsheet I created. And to be fair, it's probably not going to play out anything like what you see. But that's not the point. The point is that studies have shown when you plan, track, and visualize your goals, you significantly increase your chances of achieving them. And not because of some woo-woo bullshit manifestation garbage either, but because you're creating a roadmap to get there, and visually seeing how it all plays out feels a lot more attainable. It's kind of like the idea of how to make $1 million. At first thought, it seems like this enormous number that would take forever to get there. But if we lay out different ways to make $1 million and build a plan around it, then it becomes more realistic and not as difficult as it initially seemed. But projecting your income and achieving those results can only get you so far. If you truly want to become a homeless millionaire in the future, then you need to turn that one income source into another. There are two types of income that you need to understand. The first is working income, which is what you earn from your job. It's the money that you trade your time and effort for. It pays the bills, keeps the lights on, and funds your day-to-day life. But working income has one big limitation. It keeps you stuck on a treadmill. As long as you rely entirely on it, you have to keep running because the moment that you stop working, the income stops too. That's where the second type of income comes in, which is more passive and continues coming in whether you're actively working or not. And no, I'm not talking about those hustle culture, passive income fantasies sold by dirtbag internet bros who read the 4-hour work week one time and act like they invented money itself. I'm talking about passive income from investing in things like index funds, real estate, or other assets that grow over time. The goal is to take your working income and systematically transfer it into passive income producing assets. Every time you do this, you're effectively turning down the speed on that treadmill that you're running on to earn your working capital. Over time, as your investments grow, they'll start to replace that income that you earn from your job. Eventually, you can step off the treadmill completely because the continued growth of that passive income is covering your needs. I created a financial freedom calculator one Saturday night to give you an idea of how long it would actually take you to get there. Yes, I'm guilty of spending my weekend nights creating spreadsheets just for fun. Do not judge me. If you were earning the median take-home pay of $69,000 and wanted to accumulate $1 million starting with $0, then we can see how long it would take. There are two components of this that you can either dial up or down since they're in your control. The first is your savings rate. You might look at a 20% savings rate and not be happy with the fact that it's going to take 26.5 years. So if you bump it up to a 30% savings rate, then you can shave off a little under 5 years from that timeline. Let's say taking a little under 22 years might still be unacceptable for you. And going up to a 35% savings rate might mean that you need to cut a little too much of your expenses. So at that point, you can dial up something else that's in your control, which is your income. With this second scenario, if you try to increase your income by something like $10,000, so now your income is $79,000, then increase your savings rate to 35%, that means that you're not only able to save more, but you're also able to spend more and hit that $1 million roughly 3 years sooner. Now, before you look at how long it's going to take to become a millionaire based on these numbers and freak out, let me remind you that the median retirement savings is only $87,000. And the average balance isn't even close to $1 million. On top of that, the average millionaire in the United States is 61 years old. So if you're working toward becoming a homeless millionaire or even doing it before 61, then you are way ahead of most people. If you want to know about some unusual signs that you're doing well financially, then you can watch this video to your left next. Hit that like button before you go. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Done.